This is a political stunt, isn't it? And it's like Nigel Farage has just decided, well, the normal rules in politics that say, do you know what, if you get millions of pounds in donations, you need to declare it because, frankly, everybody needs to know there's not something dodgy going on. They need to know whether or not, who it's come from, whether there's any conditions, what is going on, because that is just about the normal rules of politics and it's what the public have a right to know.
The UK says it's leading a $50 billion project to build a new long-range missile to protect Europe. London's making the announcement at the NATO summit in Ankara, along with 11 allies. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
From the studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska, we present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy. Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports, and welcome to a Wednesday, the 8th day of July for 2026. Mike Will, Tyson Havronic with you as we get you up, get you going here this morning. A lot to talk about. The Nebraska baseball team has received a verbal commitment from a left-handed pitcher out of Millard West. We'll talk about that coming up this morning. A lot of American Legion baseball played around the area last night. Hastings Sodbusters getting ready to take on a familiar foe again tomorrow as they take on the Grand Island Fighting Cranes out at Duncan Field. We've got some World Cup talk today, some stuff happening in Major League Baseball that we'll discuss this morning. All that and more as you wake up, get going with us, and we've got a special guest in the studio here today. He's got the VIP pass, so he decided to take it today. Tim Stroman, the Adams Central baseball coach, and he does a lot of other things around the area, too. He's going to join us for the hour today to talk sports. So welcome to the Western Studios, my man.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. What'd you do with Tyson?
I'm still here.
You're here.
Trying to figure out how do we get this whole camera situation to work on the widescreen method. I take up most of it as a fat kid, so trying to squeeze Timmy in here. He is here. He's directly to my right. I think as we move towards and we move through the hour, we'll probably maybe do a little Chinese fire drill and put him in front of the camera since he's going to be doing most of the talking today. But looking forward to a fun-filled conversation and a fun Wednesday show.
Timothy, so what's been happening? We had you with baseball during the spring. I know during the summer you are involved with the youth baseball program. Just kind of hanging out, getting through the summer. I know you got 3 vacations you're kind of trying to squeeze in here in the month of July. So it's been kind of busy for you.
It has. I've got 2 of them out of the way. We go to Florida actually here in a week for a fishing little trip. But, it's been a good summer.
All right, again, if you'd like to join in our conversation today, maybe have something to discuss with Timmy Boy, give us a call, 402-834-1330, 402-834-1330. That's the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line. If you'd like to leave us a message on our social media sites, we're monitoring those comments as well. While we got you on the horn here, a couple of interesting things happened in Major League Baseball last night. The New York Yankees, they're having a tough time. The Yankees can't stop from striking out. They lost to Tampa Bay last night by a score of 6-4. The Yankees struck out 17 times in the ball game last night, became the first team in American League history whose batters hit that mark in consecutive 9-inning games. New York did manage to collect 11 hits in the ball game last night, reaching double digits for the first time since June 17th. But the result, kind of more of the same, the 10th loss in the last 12 games for the Yanks. Overall, the Yankees now have 824 strikeouts this season. That's the 3rd highest mark in the American League. So the Yanks striking out 17 times last night, and they're a 6-4 loss to Tampa Bay. We've all been there, haven't we, Timmy? It's just one of those things. Some night it's just not your night. 17 strikeouts in one game.
Yeah, I think my bald spot would grow a little bigger after a night like that.
What do you tell your hitters when you're having a night like that?
Oh, I'm probably not telling my hitters anything on that particular night because they're not going to want to hear it.
Nothing that we can use on the show? Probably not.
Yeah, a lot of beeps would be beeping out.
So anyway,
do you even cuss at them at this point, or do you just like kind of stare at them and let them draw their own conclusions? One of those situations, 17 strikeouts. I don't think any words need to be spoken.
No, and I saw a defensive clip of them, and don't get me wrong, I love youth baseball, but it was like watching a 9, 8, 10, or whatever age group overthrow to first, overthrow to catcher throws it into center field. It's I wish we had their budget.
So the Yanks had a tough time last night with Tampa Bay. Let's talk about the Kansas City Royals. Their outfielder Tyler Tolbert tied a major league record last night with hits in 12 consecutive plate appearances, reaching the mark with an infield single against the Mets for his fifth hit in Tuesday's wild 16-12 comeback win for Kansas City. Batting ninth in the order, the right fielder hit a two-run homer in the second inning and then singled in the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh innings. Tolbert's last three hits were all infield hits. He matched the record set by Johnny Kling in 1902. And
I remember that.
Equaled by, remember Pinky Higgins? Pinky, he did it in 1938. Jose Miranda did it in 2024. And Walt Dropo, he did it in 1952. The bat that Tolbert used will be sent to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. He's typically a defensive specialist and a pinch runner, but he comes through with 5 hits last night. He's now hit safely in 12 straight plate appearances for a number 9 hitter for the Kansas City Royals.
Do you dare move him out of the 9 spot? Like you thinking, right? Like, if he's hit for 12 straight appearances, you're bumping him up in the order, right? You're going to go maybe leadoff and try to switch up the feng shui. But if you're 12 for 12, I'm telling him I'm not coming out of that 9 hole.
Yeah. I think I'm leaving him right where he's at.
Right.
Unless I got a leadoff hitter who's hitting 100, I don't think there's any adjustment needed.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you got to somebody hitting hot at the bottom of the order, that just adds a little spark to your offensive punch. Then, Timmy, you got a number 9 hole guy going 12 for 12 in his last couple of ball games. As a manager, as a coach, he's kind of grin on that situation, don't you?
Absolutely, and I love the fact that he had 3 that didn't leave the infield. I love that.
Hustling out, beating out the infield singles. And I was always like, I'm an old school National League fan. So I still remember when pitchers used to bat. And every National League team, except for one, would always just throw the pitcher in the 9 hole. It was basically a free out. It was a wasted AB. But I used to love, though, how Tony La Russa did it. And that was throw the pitcher in the 8 hole, essentially make your 9 spot like a secondary leadoff guy, and could set the table for the top of the order if he could get on board. And so I've always been a fan of maybe sneaking in a little speed, a guy that can beat out an infield single, throwing in a guy like Tyler Tolbert into that 9 hole. And that's one of the positions on the lineup card that I just think that everyone automatically assumes is going to be a freebie. A lot of times you're getting get me over fastballs to try to just put it in play and let the defense make a play behind you. And if you get a guy like Tolbert that's got some speed and can beat out those infield singles and has got the tools to do so, then you got a little Swiss Army knife in your pocket. So kudos to Kansas City.
All right, one other thing happened in Major League Baseball last night. Pittsburgh first baseman Ryan O'Hearn, he had a big night in the Pirates' 12-4 win over Atlanta. He had 3 home runs and had 10 RBIs in one game. The Pirates have been playing baseball since 1882. No player across 145 seasons had ever driven in 10 runs in a ball game, but Ryan O'Hearn, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs last night. The 10 RBIs also marked the most in the majors by a player of the season and became the 11th big leaguer since RBI became an official statistic in 1920 to have at least 3 home runs and 10 RBIs in a game. So some big performances in Major League Baseball last night, and then we had the Yankees whiffing 17 times, all highlighting the Major League Baseball schedule from last night.
Did you start him, Tim? He's on your team. Did you start him?
I'm still in golf mode. I hope I did.
Yeah, so Hearn is on the Timmy's fantasy baseball team.
He is.
Isn't he playing you this week?
He was...
Let's see, I hope I have him.
Oh, you got him in the outfield.
Okay.
He's not playing me. I beat him last week. Sore subject. He blamed his vacation, but he's currently leading Dicus, so all is right with the world.
Yeah, Tyson decided to remind me of that when I got to the clubhouse up there in the one place I have reception.
Shane says we got to get comfy. You got to scoot in a little bit if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
3 home runs, 10 RBIs.
Rearrange, try to get on camera here for you guys.
Last night for Ryan O'Hearn. You're taking up too much of the camera, Tyson.
Yeah, I've been told that a time or two.
Yeah, you're taking up too much time.
I can sit on your lap.
I wouldn't.
7-11.
This chair ain't built for 2.
7-11, waking up with Mike and Tyson this morning. A special guest, Tim Stroman, the Adams Central baseball coach, joining us here this hour to talk some sports. I understand we got some severe weather anticipated again tonight. Tim Jones from Nebraska Weather TV will join us here in just a couple of minutes to discuss what is on tap for tonight. So, Timmy, you and I were involved with golf yesterday.
Yeah, when you showed up, can you believe how many kids are signed up for that?
I thought when I was going to go out there that it was going to be. I was watching my grandson play. I thought maybe his team and maybe another team were going to go at it. I show up yesterday. There's like 150 kids getting ready to play the Laughlin Country Club yesterday. I thought, what? It's like the Masters. We're getting ready to tee off for the Masters yesterday.
I think, yeah, it was, yeah, there was a lot of people huddled up there around the clubhouse. But, man, it's cool to see, just from a coach's standpoint, that golf really take off like that. I think that is awesome. And, I mean, you had 52 kids from the Laughlin Country Club.
Yeah, that's what I understand. They had a bunch of teams from Laughlin. After watching the round yesterday, I finally realized that there is still a problem with golf. I don't care if it's with our little 10 and 11, 12-year-olds or whatever we had out there on the course yesterday, all the way up to the President of the United States who cheats every single time he's on the course. Cheating is still a big problem at golf.
Yeah,
no one counts the same way I do. I count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And not everybody counts that way when they put their score down on the scorecard.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cheating or we're just missing something in school here.
I call it gamesmanship.
Yeah,
it's gamesmanship. It's not cheating. And listen, the old adage is if you're not cheating, you're not trying. There's nothing better than a hand wedge when you've taken 3 hacks and topped it all 3 times in the rough. Just taking the hand wedge out and tossing it out into the fairway. That's a legal club. And to my knowledge, because it doesn't make contact with a golf club, it doesn't actually count as an official stroke. So that's just part of your 3 hacks that you got it out of the woods. And then obviously you get the club length. And what is a club length? I'm 5'6", so my clubs are going to be much smaller than a 7-foot tall golfer. and I feel like I should get an extra 2 feet plus the additional club length to make up for that difference because I'm short. So I get like a standard club length and then maybe a kick to get it onto the fairway. These are all very legal golf terms.
Yeah, I carry around a flagpole. I mean,
I bring this up. Because we were on the green, and our team sank the putt. So we were standing there, and the team that we were playing, like, 4-putted the green. And then when we go to write the scores down, we have a 5. we have a 5, and they put down a 4. I said, what? I said, we stood up here for about 5 minutes while you guys putted around the hole, and you had a 4 and we had a 5?
They're going to be calling you, Mike. We need that guy over here who's keeping the
Well, still, you would think with all the technology in the world right now that golf could come up with some way to have automatic scores. I don't know if you can put a chip in a golf ball, or what can you do to make an automatic score?
Maybe they're only counting the ones that they like. I don't know. That's
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, we got a full studio. Not only 2 here in the Western studios, we got Mike in the Eastern studios, and from Central Downtown Depot Plaza studios, Tim Jones also joining us. So a cast of thousands here today as we welcome in Tim Jones.
Good morning, guys. Hey, do I hear talking about golf? It's just another activity to do when you're drinking beer. That's my opinion.
Probably not with our 9 and 10-year-olds where Timmy and I were yesterday out at the golf course. But for the most part, that's what we do. Anyway, Tim Jones from Nebraska Weather TV.
I missed that part of the conversation.
Yeah, Tim Jones from Nebraska Weather TV going to join us. And Tim, we've been in a little stretch here of severe weather, and tonight's going to be another night that some storms are going to break out. What's the scoop tonight?
Well, we do have another risk, and of course it's hot and humid out there, so the fuel is already in place. Now we just need something to set it off, and that'll be a combination of the instability along with a passing cold front. It's not a strong one, but it will be enough to knock us back tomorrow back to the mid-80s. That's going to feel like almost a fall day compared to the weather we've had the last week or two, coming out of that stretch of 70s we had. But right now there's a 2 out of 5 on the threat scale in place with slight risk. It does include Grand Island, Kearney, and Hastings. Pretty much if you draw a line from Sioux City, Iowa, through Norfolk, back up around Thedford, and all the way up to Chadron, south of that line, all the way down into Kansas, that is that 2 out of 5 or slight risk. The threats, large hail, up to about 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches in diameter, and winds up to 70 miles per hour. And I think those southern tier of counties, south of Interstate 80, down to the Kansas border, or just down into northern Kansas, all the way from about McCook back to about Lincoln and Beatrice, that corridor, that lane in there will be the best chance to get some stronger wind gusts later on tonight. And that's how the Storm Prediction Center, our local National Weather Service office, sees it as well. So it doesn't look widespread. We could have a few bursts upwards in the upper 60s, maybe low 70s, but 70-mile-per-hour winds will take down some small trees, cause a little roof damage, blow away your little yip-yap foo-foo dog, and move the trampoline down the street as well. So that's certainly something you want to prepare for and be weather aware. The timing is late afternoon. I think we'll see the initial storms going maybe up to the north late afternoon, early evening. We're probably looking around the Tri-Cities 6, 7 o'clock. And then we just need to be weather aware throughout the entire evening. And then things should start to taper off overnight or to about daybreak on Thursday morning.
Tim, is the hot and humid conditions, I guess the humid conditions, is that what's triggering all these storms as of late? Because it seems like just about every day some portion of the state is under some risk of severe weather. Is it the humidity that's kind of driving this stuff right now?
Well, it is. And, for anybody that's ever been to Florida where they get those afternoon thunderstorms like clockwork in the summertime, sometimes we get enough instability. And, of course, the moisture's in place. And so you get enough instability and you reach that dew point and the temperature get very close together and you get these thunderstorms that pop up. Very, very hard to predict. Sometimes they'll pulse up and go severe. Sometimes they won't. They won't last very long. But here we've got the elements. We've got the heat, the instability. We've got the moisture, the fuel storms, and then we have at least a week from a boundary to set this stuff off. So we have a focal point here, and it depends on where this cold front makes it throughout the day. It's up to the northern part of the state, and it'll sag south. So we'll see storms moving south or southeast tonight. But you get into summertime, Mike, as you said, and you get these daily, especially in the late afternoon, early evening. If you can overcome that warm air aloft, you can get thunderstorms every single day.
Again, Tim Jones here joining us this morning. Tim, on the note of the humidity, the high temperatures that we've been experiencing, I just kind of took a look at the extended forecast as far as the temps are concerned. It's low 90s, it's high 90s, really for the next several days. Is there a cool down on the way? Do we anticipate one coming around the corner? How long are we going to endure just kind of this oppressive heat wave or swamp ass season, as I like to call it?
Yeah, it's definitely swamp ass, or as I call it, the air you can wear. And a few days ago, I made a post, and of course, the answer is, in short, Ty, that we are expecting this stretch of 90s to continue. It looked like this dome of high pressure, and when we think high pressure, we think blue skies, settled weather conditions for the most part, and especially in the winter, in the summertime, rather, very, very hot temperatures. It looked like coming out of last week into the weekend that we might hit triple digits next week. And of course we keep the humidity, but I think our data has kind of backed off that and just trending towards keeping temperatures in the low to mid 90s. The heat index, very well, those feels like numbers could stretch into the upper 90s to low 100s. But as it stands right now, at least in the next week to 10 days, I don't see an extended break from the heat and humidity. And, of course, that would take a stronger cold front. Now, aside of tomorrow, I think mid-80s is going to be a nice one-day welcome where we'll see the winds turn to the northwest. We'll scour out a little bit of the moisture, not all of it, but we'll get a little one-day break, and that'll be nice. But if you like your air conditioner like I do, and the heat and the humidity becomes oppressive as we go through the dog days of summer, I don't see an extended cool down in the forecast, at least at this point, anytime soon.
All right, Tim Jones from Nebraska Weather TV joining us this morning. Again, chance for some severe weather to pop up tonight. You'll be live if it's necessary tonight, Timmy, on your stream and everywhere else. You can get to Nebraska Weather TV. You'll be live, and people can stay up to date on the weather situation. Make it real easy for the folks to follow weather these days.
Yeah, it's real easy. Of course, we'll be live on the Extreme Sports, if I can talk, platform. And, of course, YouTube and Roku as well. Of course, we send the live signal through our Facebook channels as well. So you are right. We're everywhere, and we make it easy to watch, and we always appreciate and are grateful for everybody that joins in.
All right, Timmy, keep your eyes on the sky, and we'll stay up to date what's going on today weather-wise. Have a good day.
Thanks, boys.
All right, Tim Jones from Nebraska Weather TV checking in with us. Again, a chance of some severe weather to pop up in the area again tonight. You're waking up with Mike and Tyson and a full cast of people here. It's
the Tim Show.
The Tim Show. We're
Tim
getting
Stroman, Tim Jones.
Yeah, it is the Tim. Maybe get Jones and Stroman, the Tim and Tim Show.
Can we just relabel the episode?
Now, Stroman said he woke up at 4 o'clock this morning in preparation for this show. 4 o'clock, Timmy? You couldn't sleep or what?
Always got to be prepared, I guess.
You got to be prepared for the show.
Yeah.
That's what time I went to bed.
That's when I wake up, 4 o'clock. The producer of this show, Timmy, was up at 4 o'clock. Anyway, we're glad to have him aboard here today to do Talk Sports 724. Again, if you'd like to join in, you can on the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line, 402-834-1330, 402-834-1330. If you'd like to leave us a message on our social media sites, we're monitoring those comments as well. You mentioned you had tryouts for the Hastings Orioles, Timmy. You're a proud coach of the Hastings Orioles. You had tryouts already for the 2027 season?
Yeah, that's kind of we did. And not necessarily for my team, since I coach in the organization. I go and help out just where needed. If they need to hit ground balls, I'll hit them. Fly balls. We didn't need to really try out for our particular team. But yeah, if you can explain the logic of where we started doing tryouts an entire year in advance and are forced to kind of do that I would love to hear it, because it makes no sense to me. But yeah, we do. Everybody, does theirs, so we feel that we need to do that too, so we can, fill vacancies and things like that. But whatever bright individual came up with, we're going to try out for next season's summer baseball the day after this summer baseball season gets ready. I'd love to hear your reasoning behind that one. That's a head scratcher for me.
Well, how many kids, you go through an exhausting season every weekend? Yeah. You are on the road, going out to the metro, playing teams that you could have played 2 miles away, because you get put into a weird pool play situation. I've been a part of this stuff too. But the kids are exhausted, man. And then you come around and you say the following weekend, hey, good season, everybody. Go enjoy your summer. Make sure you come back next weekend for tryouts. You're not going to get the same numbers back.
No, and it's
it's amazing you do.
Yeah, I personally don't like it, just for the fact that, for my end game, I want these kids involved in the game as long as possible. And I know as well as anybody else, if you have a kid that has had, a frustrating summer, we'll just say frustrating, not even bad, because you can't, in my mind, I can't tell you a 9-year-old had a bad summer.
Right.
But an exhausted one, and if parents say, hey, good job, little Johnny, your season's over, we got tryouts tomorrow, I, as a head coach at the high school, feel we might lose a potential participant by doing it this way. And we were talking about this before. Development is massive at younger ages. It's also massive at older ages. But you can't tell. I mean, what if this little kid grows a foot over the summer that you've never seen before and shows up? I can dive in on that more later, but yeah, it's a head scratcher, Mike. We'll just leave it at that. I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Is there a concern? And I've just thought this, and I don't have any skin in the game anymore. But I've coached at the youth level. I've coached at the high school level. I've seen all sides of this angle. Is there a concern for baseball burnout from high school coaches based on the current trajectory of the youth programs?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. I was just talking with some people about this last week. Yes, and in our small town, I probably view it the opposite of towns like Millard and Elkhorn. They're looking at, and that's why when people compare youth baseball to Millard and Elkhorn, I just laugh, because I was just looking at the enrollment numbers for this year's scheduling. And Adams Central sits at 100 boys throughout their entire school district. I don't want kids burning out. I don't want kids leaving because of youth baseball. You flip that and you go to Millard, who a lot of these youth parents want to, we want to be like I don't even know what the hell these organizations' names are.
Kings.
Yeah, whatever. The Kings and these programs from Millard and Elkhorn. Millard itself has 6,600 boys in its school district. So when you ask, do high school coaches worry about burnout? and this is a sad reality of what it is, they almost want it. I wouldn't say they want it, but they don't want what we want in this area, which is maximum participation. They don't want 500 kids showing up that can't tie their shoes to their high school baseball tryouts. So they have all of these labeled and ranked programs. Like if you try out for, let's just say Millard, you're on Millard. Pink, purple, clear, blue, whatever color is next to their name. And they all know which one's the top one and which one's the bottom one. These kids will see that. They're going to say, oh, I'm not good enough to be on this team. I'm just not going to play. Mm-hmm. If we do that here, that takes our numbers from a class of 6 now down to a class of 4. And you do that out in Elkhorn, you do that out in Millard, you do that out in Lincoln. You now have a class of 200 potential, whatever year. We'll just call it next year's incoming class. Mm-hmm. And you've gotten rid of 12. And nobody in their mind is going to say, if you go up to, Dunn at Elkhorn North and say, hey, do you want these kids quitting? He's not going to tell you yes. But he also doesn't want 200 kids at his tryouts.
He's not going to lose any sleep over it.
No. And he knows that if I just lost, 12 kids off the zebra team, that's not going to be any hair off his back. But out here, we can't have that mindset. We can't have that setup either, or else we're just going to continue to see numbers. Like I was looking at our incoming numbers. The last few years at Adams Central, we had 5 freshmen play baseball. Last year we had 7 or 6 or 7. Oh, great. I just said something my kids have been saying all the time. But, and 2 of them had never played baseball.
Right.
We showed up and one that was showing me gloves to purchase and bats. Like, we need the kids participating. And looking at like our incoming numbers, we have about 8 to 10 this year. But our extended numbers, we're looking at anywhere from 10 to 20, which would be absolutely phenomenal because we'd have depth. I mean, we had 23 kids, healthy kids, at the end of 2 weeks left in our season last year. We had 23 kids from top to bottom, varsity to JV, in a 27-game schedule. And it's hard to sustain. It's hard to keep these kids healthy. It's hard to, when you show up and you have to give that much like mental, it's more than just showing up and playing. It puts a lot of stress. You have to deal with classwork. You have to deal with all the expectations we have off the field for the kids that their school has for them. They have obligations to get their classwork done. And it's a lot for these kids to handle. And when we're burning them out and just selecting these kids so early, we're setting ourselves up for ultimate failure. When, in flip side, we have unrealistic views of success as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's a tough battle. And I understand why these youth coaches that don't have experience in the end game, don't have experience in the high school coaching, don't have experience in collegiate baseball, see that and might want that. I fully understand it. I'm a reasonable person to get it, but it's not what we need and not what. If we have these just unrealistic views of success, that is not what we need, and we won't come close to accomplishing anything close to what people might think we should be accomplishing.
All right, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. It's Huddle Up on Extreme Sports for this Wednesday. Tim Stroman, the Adams Central baseball coach, is in with us here this morning. We'll have more, and we'll talk about this a little bit more after the news break here today. Again, the 402-834-1330 is the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line. If you'd like to chime in on our discussion here this morning, leave us a message on our social media sites. We're monitoring those comments as well. 7:33 now on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
We'll start in Kearney this morning, where a car crashed into a pharmacy entrance of Apple Market in Kearney yesterday afternoon. Emergency crews responded just after noon. No injuries were reported, and officials are investigating what caused the driver to leave the roadway and strike the building. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has approved a federal disaster declaration for Nebraska's historic spring wildfires, unlocking nearly $9.7 million to repair damaged roads and public infrastructure. The funding covers counties where more than 820,000 acres burned between March and April. And in election news, everybody's favorite topic, right? North Platte independent candidate Macy Budke is launching a write-in campaign for Nebraska's 3rd congressional district. Budke joins Mark Cohen as nonpartisan candidates in the state's most conservative congressional district. Becky Stilley is the Democratic Party nominee in the race, and David Elsey is running of the Legal Marijuana Now party line. They are all challenging incumbent Republican Adrian Smith. It is 7:34. We'll head back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going on in sports?
Sports today brought to you by Bamboo Mind and Body Spa, helping you recover, recharge, and perform your best. The Nebraska baseball team has received a verbal commitment from a left-handed pitcher from Millard West. Colton Williams wrapped up his junior season with the Wildcats in May, making 6 appearances with a 4-2 record and an earned run average of 1.07. In American Legion baseball action last night, Hastings 5 Points Bank lost to Lincoln Southeast J.C. Breger 7-1. Nick Musel was the losing pitcher. He threw 4 1/3 innings and gave up 5 runs and 2 hits. He walked 6 and struck out 2. Zane Thompson, Liam Dyer, and Musel had 2 hits apiece. Hastings is now 11-13-1 on the season and will play in the Hastings Kearney tournament coming up this weekend. Hastings runs a split doubleheader with Lexington last night at Duncan Field. Hastings won the first game 12-7, dropped the nightcap 5-4. Hastings is now 8-17 in the season. They'll play in the Bellevue East tournament coming up this weekend. Hastings Johnson Imperial Homes is 11-13. They will play in the Capital City Clash beginning tomorrow. Other action last night, Grand Island Home Federal took 2 from Norfolk, 10-2 and 9-4. The North Platte Juniors beat the Wesco Express 15-8 and 26-10. Hastings Sodbusters will play the Grand Island Fightin' Cranes tomorrow night at Duncan Field. Sodbusters are 11-17 in the season. The Fightin' Cranes are 17-11. First pitch will be at 7. That's a check on your sports headlines at 7:36 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
That summer heat continues on this Wednesday with increasing chances for severe storms in the late afternoon into the evening. Hey everybody, Tim Jones with your forecast. 94 is the high today, mostly sunny skies and a south wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Slight risk 2 out of 5 in place for late afternoon into tonight. Large hail up to the size of $0.50 and winds up to 70 miles per hour. Not everybody will experience severe storms, but any storm that does form could quickly become severe. 66 overnight and 86 tomorrow.
We've got south winds this morning at 7. Clear skies, sunshine at 70 in Hastings at
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Vollen Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, Our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Rollins Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at Hamilton.
Get ready for the ultimate trivia experience with Extreme Sports Trivia. Play from anywhere at home, on the go, or at your favorite bar or restaurant. Compete live against players from all over in real time, answering questions across categories like sports, pop culture, Marvel, and more. Want to see how you stack up? Track your progress with live leaderboards and aim for the top spot. It's free, fun, and super easy to play. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today at extremesports.com trivia and start playing now. And keep an eye out. We're coming soon to a bar or restaurant near you.
Mike Will, Tyson O'Brien, Adams Central baseball coach Tim Stroman joining us here this hour as we wake up and get going for a Wednesday. World Cup. If anybody is still interested in the World Cup, Argentina yesterday beat Egypt by the score of 3-2. And then Switzerland and Colombia, they battled to a scoreless tie yesterday. Switzerland won 4-3 in a penalty kick shootout to advance to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinal action will get underway on Thursday. France against Morocco in the first game. Game time will be at 3. You'll be able to see it on Fox. Tyson and I were talking yesterday that Switzerland and Colombia game would be a real snoozer. It was. They battled to a scoreless tie, and then they had penalty kicks to decide the thing 4-3. Switzerland wins, and they advance to the quarterfinal stage.
Yeah, you could have fast-forwarded that one to the very final moments. You could have fast-forwarded Argentina and Egypt until the final 10 minutes. Egypt had a 2-0 lead, and Argentina scores 3 goals in the span of 12 minutes, including getting the 2 additional minutes at stoppage time to take the thrilling 3-2 victory over Egypt. Tom Brady probably had the best post. He won the internet last night. He said, boy, that makes 28-3 look really good. In terms of the Falcons comeback, so kind of slighted himself a little bit with some self-deprecating humor. But yeah, Argentina gets the comeback victory. The round of 16 is set, and should be exciting come Thursday.
Yeah, with the first game, France and Morocco, 3 o'clock starting time on Fox. So that's your World Cup update. Again, Tim Stroman is in studio with us here this morning as we get you through the hour here. Before the news break, we were talking about burnout in youth baseball, advancing up into the upper levels, the high school ranks, and we'll continue that discussion here in the second half of the show. So, Timmy, what's the biggest concern? We kind of talked about it before the break, just the burnout factor of these kids playing 50, 60, 70, 80 games a summer as a 9 or 10-year-old or 12-year-old kid. Sooner or later, it's going to start to take the toll on their minds and their bodies, and by the time they get up to the high school ranks, when they see you up there, then they don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. And I'm going to show Tyson this graphic here that I came across with a kid up at Dismal. I thought that, 40 or 50 games a summer was a lot. Check that number out. That's a 13-year-old baseball
107 games.
Are we kidding
107.
Me? No, we came across a kid up at Dismal and was talking about, his high school, or his, his youth summer. I said, do you know how to go? Oh, we play a lot of games. I said, oh, yeah, that's, typical in your area. How much you play? Oh, 107. It was like, whoa, wait, what? 107. That's
and they did that in the span of 2 months.
Well, they started actually in August, which is even more absurd in my mind because, I mean, you said that Ryan had mentioned multi-sport athletes.
Right.
I think, in my view, and especially in our community, I want these kids playing all the sports. I mean, they play fall sports. I've had a couple people ask me, well, what do you think I should do for fall ball? Or what do you think I should do in the fall? It's like, you need to play football. If you go to Adams Central, play football, play tennis, do cross country, do something that's going to, get your body moving because other sports help, impact a lot of the baseball movements and vice versa. You have like hand-eye coordination, you have speed and agility, you have all important aspects of sport in itself, not just one particular sport. And when you're at Adams Central, if you have two athletic kids that, could potentially help the football team that don't go out, you're not only going to hinder your team, you're going to hinder all the rest of those kids because we don't have, like I said, we have 100 boys to work with. And the more kids that don't participate, the worse we're going to be as a whole, as a unit, as a school. And the participation needs to be here in a small community. We're not a big school. And if people really want to know in terms of numbers, high school baseball as a whole, we are the 5th smallest school in all of high school baseball. And I don't think a lot of people realize that on the cover. In terms of enrollment, in terms of, roster, we are the 5th smallest out of the 89 or whatever it is now that have high school baseball. We have the 5th lowest amount of kids to work with. And so, yeah, the burnout's crazy. And it's one of those things that's really hard for me as a high school coach and a 10U coach to verbalize some of this stuff because when I do, and I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. And I'm going to verbalize what I want out of our high school kids. If that's not what you're doing with your youth program, great. I mean, I'm not saying that as a 10U coach. I am saying that as going to be your kid's coach when they get to high school, that this is what I want to see. I want to see the ability to run the bases. I want to see the ability to bunt. And yes, structured base running at 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 isn't a thing. As much as we'd like to preach that it is, and it's not. I mean, it's not a sustainable model, and these kids need to know the fundamentals. Yes, I understand that you can steal nonstop running backwards, crawling to second base at 10 years old. I understand that. But are we doing the kids a benefit down the road by doing it? And, well, I don't need to teach them how to bunt. We hit 500 this summer. Well, I also know your game changer guy has marked down 2 errors. You must be the best fielding baseball team in all of baseball. And it's a struggle. But like I said, it's really hard coaching Cal's team and coaching the high school team because I say this type of stuff and instantly I'll get the reaction, oh, you're running your mouth about my youth program, blah, blah, blah. Right. And, the only youth program I've looked at really on Game Changer this year is the one I just showed you. I could care less. I just want, these kids learning the game the correct way. Because and I hope they are all multi-sport athletes, if they come to play baseball, they have 2 weeks of practice and then we start games. So we don't have time to teach you the fundamentals of the game. You have to have some knowledge of the game coming in if you want to play. And, another thing that I'm really huge on is the multi-positions.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing that irritates me, is we'll get the same type thing. Youth coaches, well, I hear you running your mouth about our youth program and all this because we don't play multiple positions. Now, I've never once said your youth team name. And if you do have kids that are playing one position, great. Maybe that's a position that you want to do. That's fine. That's your prerogative. But I also know that when they get to us at high school and you've only played first base or third base, you now have instantly cut your chances of playing and participating and being an impactful player in our program hugely, vitally. I mean, I'll use Parker Hodgin as an example for our varsity team. He caught for me, he was a freshman when I came in, so he had a freshman year under his belt before I joined the coaching staff. But he caught for me. He started at catcher sophomore, junior year. And kudos to his youth coaches. He had played all the other positions. And if he wouldn't have, I don't know who he would have had at third base or shortstop, because he had to play varsity third base and played varsity shortstop and played varsity first base for us. He had some time in the outfield. I mean, the youth coaches set him up in a position where we could place him and put him in different situations and be able to up his participation rate. I mean, he was a great player. He's gonna go on to play college baseball next year. But a lot of these guys, if they have came in and say, well, I only play one position. Well, what if you come in behind, Hunter Nepple at first base?
Right. Or
you come in behind guys that have had all-state, freshman, sophomore years, and he's a junior and senior. You just, and it's nothing to the kids. And I know that the coaches, I hope the coaches don't know that they're doing this. But sometimes I think we really, really view being successful and having winning records and being the best youth team for what? It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does. And I hate saying that it doesn't matter, because it does. The coaching your youth and having your kid, enjoy a game and be successful matters a ton. And it matters the most to a lot of these youth coaches. And a lot of these guys, aside from one other person on our coaching staff, have skin in the game in the youth game. And they understand the big picture. And to have the best youth team in town means as much to me as not going and stubbing my toe for the day.
But an 8U medal isn't going to get you a college scholarship.
Absolutely not. And that's one of the things that kid said. Well, I got to get. Well, we can get into that too. But it's not going to get you the college scholarship. And I personally don't care at the high school level. So if you come in and tell me I played 13U T-ball or 13U, 13, A, AA, AAA majors, that means absolutely nothing to me. And it doesn't matter to me. I mean, yes, you can. There might be a group of youth kids that can go and compete at that level. That's phenomenal. Do it. I think that's great. Compete at the highest level that you can. But you can ask any of my high school players. I never once asked them what level of A, AA, what level of 12U did you play? That does not translate to anything in my eyes. And talking to you in terms of development, I was just talking to you about this. I mean, you'd never know when a kid's going to develop either. You'll have some people say that, by third, fourth, fifth grade, you can tell. And unless you're a clairvoyant, you can't tell. Unless you're a mind reader, and I'd like to talk to you because we can go around town and, pick out the kids that I should be watching for. But you can't tell. And they develop at such a weird rate, and some guys don't. I mean, and a lot of these kids are peaking early. And I was one of them. I mean, I took the same speed in 8th grade as I did as a junior in college. And you can't count these kids out. And on that flip side, I remember when I was coaching at Highlands Ranch, I had, 250 kids show up. This is at a school of 2,200 kids. And we had to cut a kid who was 5'2". He was a great kid. Just in terms of the numbers that we had and in terms of the skill set where he just wasn't able to make the varsity team. So we had to cut him. And he stuck around as a manager for us. And, I moved out here after that last season. And you fast forward 4 years, and I'm umpiring a Hastings College game. And I see this kid's last name on the lineup card, and I'm like, there's no way it's the same kid. I don't even know why I'm thinking this. So I actually go up to Pat Morey, who's now at John A. Logan, but he was an assistant coach for Hastings College. And I said, hey, what's this so-and-so's kid's first name? And he told me. I was like, there's no way. I said, I cut this kid when I was coaching at Hounds Ranch. You fast forward even more, he played 3 years of minor league ball.
Wow.
So when you tell me that, I could tell if this kid's fully developed, he's a stud. And this is my favorite, is when people tell me, well, he throws 59.
Well,
I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't even know what you're talking about. If we're radar gunning these 10-year-olds, that's insanity to me. It doesn't mean anything. In terms of what you should be telling me with the youth is, oh man, he's got great mechanics. Oh man, he can, his swing, it checks all the boxes. I don't care how far a 10-year-old can hit the ball. You can hit it up. You hit it 220. Well, great. What about the other, 759 at bats that he had?
And we live in a baseball world where metrics have now become king, and stats and analytics, and you see it. You can't watch a baseball game anymore without seeing the Google Statcast and the numbers that come out, the exit velo, the break, the spin rate, all of these different numbers. And parents have put an emphasis on that. And again, I'm not going to throw any youth team under the bus, and I'm not going to say any names at all. But I saw graphics on my Facebook feed of a player card of an 8U player on his spin rate and fastball speed. and here's the thing, and here's the point I'm going to get to, because this has been a pandemic, an epidemic of sorts, and I can speak for Mike as well. We've covered enough baseball over the years. The ability to throw strikes is becoming a lost art because nobody knows how to pitch.
You're exactly right. And it's funny you say metrics, because I stay away from it, but I'm huge into it. Sure. I'll look at it, and not for our youth guys. Obviously, I could no metric I look at for our youth guys. The numbers I look at are strike percentage, and that's about it, to be honest. Strike percentage. But the metrics are huge, and like you run into that at the high school a lot. And I use it in terms of feedback for our pitchers and in terms of their college recruiting stuff, because you will get questions from college coaches that evolve around some metrics, but it's such a double-edged sword, because like you said, they don't know the fundamentals. They might be able to hit the ball really, really hard, but are we staying on top of the baseball? Are we hitting the top half of the baseball? Are we, oh great, we have 110 exit velocity. Okay, well the ball went a mile and went about 100 feet. Okay. You may have hit that ball really hard, but an out's an out. And summer ball, as you get older, I want to be careful with how I word this, because I like the metrics, but I don't think it's something that we should rely on in terms of success. Yeah. So like if you're hitting 100, batting average of 100, but you've hit an exit velocity of 110 or all these there's obviously some adjustment that you need, because those metrics aren't translating to results. And I like to go through, we have some new technology at the high school I'm really excited to use this year that tracks the metrics of everything. It'll track your exit velocity, your spin rate. It's a high-end launch monitor, essentially.
Okay.
But it'll give the kids good feedback. Like we want spin on the fastball. We want a high spin rate. We don't want flat pitches. So if we can take those spin rates and we can take those arm angles and kind of tweak those a little bit to be more successful, that's where I like the metrics. And it's wild. The I don't know why or how or when all of this turned into what it has, but I just hope that in our town, and I love to give all the youth coaches in town credit, though. Mm-hmm. I think all of them are doing a great job, because looking at our participation numbers, that's your record, in my opinion. Like, in my view of, did you have a successful season? Oh, we were 30-2. I usually just respond back, do you have everybody back?
Bingo.
Like, that's my view of a successful youth season. And mm-hmm. coaches that coach youth, I don't know if they don't just really see where I'm coming from or want to know why I'm asking that, or why, on the flip side, when you ask if you have a successful season, the record is the first thing that comes out of their mouth. Or the record is, or somebody's batting average, or somebody's, ERA or strikeouts. Why that's always the first thing that comes to our minds is a head scratcher to me. Like when people ask at Adams Central, it looks like he had we didn't make the state tournament last year. It was a disappointing season. Well, it was a disappointing end result. It was something that we obviously didn't want. But to say that those kids had a disappointing season is far from the truth as you can get. Yeah, when we just look at the record, well, if you look at the record, our record was 22-7. We had the best record in Class C.
Yeah.
We were the only Tier 1 team in Class C. We also played one of the toughest schedules out of any of the Class C teams. So no, it wasn't a disappointing season. You also, if you want to dive deeper into that, we had 23 kids and played a 27-game schedule. and a full JV schedule. So I hate, and I hope any of the players that are listening or any of the people that are involved with the baseball program, they had an amazing season. I thought it was one of our best ones. Yeah, we didn't end in the same spot as we did the years before, but it's also, I think, a good thing. People will probably look at me crazy when I say that too, because you can't have a cruise control. Right. In my opinion, you can't just expect to be somewhere at the end of the year. You have to put the work in. You have to be focused nonstop. There can't be moments of, weakness if you want to end at the end, like mental weakness. We have to stay focused at all aspects of the game, all aspects of our life, all aspects of school. I mean, managing that is hard. And I thought each one of those kids, each one of the coaches deserve a pat on the back, because you can't measure a successful season just by, the record. Right. And just by, well, did you make the state tournament? No, but you know what? We also had a team GPA of a 3.8.
Hell yeah.
We also sent 3 kids out of our 5 seniors on to play baseball at the next level. And if you break it down into the most simplest terms, we prepared them for their next step in life. And that's what I think our goal is as a coach. Yeah, of course, every one of us wants to be successful and have winning seasons and send kids to college. Or not send kids to college, sorry, that's what I would like to. Or win state tournament. But in my eyes, my main goals are we preparing these kids and making them mentally tough? Are we working on their communication skills? A lot of the times at the high school, well, not a lot of times, every year at the high school, I communicate with strictly the players. And it builds their communication skills, because a lot of us rely on our parents still at that age. And one of the things that I do at the high school is I don't talk to any of the parents about baseball-related things. Everything goes through the kids, and they have to communicate that with their parents, because a communication skill after high school is something that you're going to have to heavily rely on. And, and being accountable and being responsible and showing up on time. That's another thing that, a lot of these, you have to show up on time. If your job starts at 8, you don't show up at 8:30. And those are the skills that I think are the most important ones that we're trying to put into these high schools. And if we can have some victory and some success statistically along the way, great. But I think our first priority is to prepare these kids for the next step in life, which is not professional baseball. We have had one Division I athlete since I've been at Adams Central. And I don't know how many Division I athletes we've had as a school, but it's not a lot, because it's an extremely hard thing to do, and there's good players everywhere. And the worst thing we can do to a youth player is tell them that they have a potential to be a Division I athlete, because A, you have no idea what you're talking about. Your kid might be good when he's 12, but that does not translate. It might for the very, very rare 0.001%. But it takes a ton of work to get to that level. Like the one that I have experience with at Adams Central here is Cohen Rader. And if you look at what he's doing on and off the field, there is not a cruise control. That kid has put in more work than anybody that I've came across in the last 5-10 years. At Adams Ranch, I coached 14 Division I athletes, different makeup of team, different amount of kids. But that's the worst thing in my mind you can do to these kids is tell them, hey, you're going to be a Division I athlete, because they'll listen to it. They're going to believe you. And it's just not sustainable. And it really, really has a negative effect on the kids, especially when they get to be juniors and seniors, and those Division I schools aren't knocking on their door, because now they think they've failed, when in reality, they're still great baseball players, and they're still great kids. They're great individuals. They're great human beings. They've had this idea in their head for so long, and they've been told this for so long, that when it doesn't come to fruition, they think that they've failed. And they haven't. You look at the seniors that we've had the last 3 years. We sent, 2 to community colleges my first year. Last year we sent 2 more down to the Kansas Community College League, which is better than some Division I leagues. And then last year we had 3. And they're all going on to further their education for what they need later in life, and then to still enjoy a game that they can enjoy and play with their friends.
Last question here before we let you go, and I know we're running short on time here, but I want to summarize and put this all into a bow. And it's not just baseball. We're seeing youth volleyball, we're seeing youth basketball, we're seeing youth at every level. And you mentioned the ideal successful season for so many of these teams is the hardware at the end, and you just gave 1,000 reasons why that's not the example of what success actually is. And I think that's a culture thing. I think that's a demographic thing. What's going to happen first? Are you seeing at the youth level enough of a shift mentally and culturally that we can stop putting hardware in championships as the end game?
I think in town, yeah. I hope. This last year I felt, and like I said, I don't follow any of these other youth organizations. When it's, in the summertime, I focus on, my son's team. That's what they deserve, and that's what they're going to get. And I feel really bad sometimes for Cal because he sees all the effort that I put in on the high school side. I mean, it's a full-time. I'm starting their recruiting profiles now. We're going through some scheduling stuff. And so I feel that I owe it to those guys, and I owe it to Cal, and to put all my effort into that. So I don't have time to look at little Johnny's 8U team from an opposing team in town. I could care less. The terms of success in my eyes are the kids learning the game? Can they play multiple positions? Actually, I'm going to put that at number one. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest importance. Can they play multiple positions? Are they enjoying it? And are they learning it? And then number four, that could also, any of these could be number one, is are they playing other sports? Because I need them to play basketball. I need them to play football. For the fact, like I said before, it not only helps out our community and our school, but it gets them, good footwork, speed and agility, mental toughness. My favorite sport that I think all baseball players should play is golf. I mean, you see a lot of these kids that'll crumble on, an 0-2 pitch that's not called a strike. Go play golf. Every one of your shots is going to be a mental. But like, I know it sounds like a joke, but I mean, it is dead on serious. That is the most mentally toughest exercise you can do as a youth adult, unless you're, in Mike's group in the youth tournament where, 100 yards is a gimme. You're happy to have that mental battle with yourself. If you have a bad shot, you can either sit and mope about it or whine about it, or you can, make a good shot on your next one. So I think these kids participating in all these different sports is another important. And I know sometimes in the summertime it can get really hectic, and I understand as a parent that you don't want your kids doing all of it. And that's completely understandable too, because there's other seasons to do those other sports. But I think the more that they're involved in, the better. I mean, we have high school guys that are involved in the musical, that are involved in band, that are involved in choir, and I absolutely love it. And we adjust for that. I mean, we have kids missing, baseball tournaments, games, practices to go to these, and they have my full support in that. Because I want them to be well-rounded individuals. Just because they missed a high school Class C baseball game, I would much rather them, go to that band concert, go to that choir concert, because those are skills, those are things that they're going to use later in life. Baseball's going to end at some point for all these guys. But I can tell you what, if you could sit down at a family dinner and play a classical piece on the piano, you're invited over to my house any day of the week. I don't really care if some 40-year-old could come over and show me how good he hit when he was 20. Some of these skills that we have to translate. So the more activities and the more things that they're involved with throughout their youth, high school, I mean, pat on the back, great job. But no, Tyson, to address your question, I think all the youth coaches in town are doing a great job.
Awesome.
Because we're seeing the numbers improve. Mm-hmm. And I could speak for Blake Marquardt on this. I don't like to speak for people a lot. That's what he wants as well. He wants kids out. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want at Adams Central too. We just want these kids out and participating. The worst thing you can do is see a kid walk down the hallway that could benefit you in 3 different sports, and he doesn't do any. Why? Who knows? It could have been a bad youth experience. It could be that his parents don't want him doing after-school activities. We don't know. But as youth coaches, we shouldn't be the thing that's affecting these kids. And so, I mean, as long as we keep them in the game, teach them, and get them exposed to all aspects of the game, I think everybody's doing a great job.
All right, some good stuff here today. Tim Stroman, the Adams Central baseball coach, has been in with us this hour today. If you'd like to listen to the show again, you can go to our social media sites, download the podcast, and listen to the show at your convenience throughout the day today. Tim, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I know I've got a couple of dates in August, and I'm going to be gone. I think I have my fill-in host. You did a good job, and hopefully we'll get back together again before school starts here in a couple of months.
Yeah. I was glad you guys had me on. Mike, I'll check my fishing forecast, and I'll let you know on those dates in August.
All right, thanks for joining us again on Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock starting time. Again, there's a chance of some severe weather moving through the area later on this afternoon into tonight. Tim Jones from Nebraska Weather TV was on with us in the first half hour of the show talking about the potentials for severe weather. So keep your eyes to the skies. If anything happens, we'll have it for you here on Extreme Sports. Again, thanks for joining us, waking up with us here today. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 7 here on Huddle Up on Extreme Sports.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8 on Extreme Sports.